Hello, Facebook. How's it going? Happy Sunday and happy Easter. So glad that you're here joining us for our fourth episode of 574 Theater's House Party. My name is Alex Price. I'm the artistic director of 574 Theater and the host of House Party. So glad to have you here with us. I hope you all have enjoyed your day, celebrating Easter with your families at home, social distancing yourself, or just having a lovely Sunday and just relaxing and enjoying the weekend. So glad to be back again for our fourth episode. It's crazy that this is our fourth one. It seems like things are going so quickly. I'm having a ton of fun with these guests that we've been having, being able to talk theater. I know for me personally, it's bringing me a ton of joy to be able to connect with my friends and people who have worked with 574 and put time and effort into 574. It's been a blessing to be able to do this. So a couple announcements. We have more House Party episodes coming up this week. Tuesday at 8 p.m. with Nick Rogers and Thursday at 8 p.m. with Zach Gillis. And we have a whole nother week of guests lined up for you that we'll be announcing new guests in the middle of this week. So we're really excited to keep the house party going. Another event that you might have seen on Facebook is our Plays in the House. Our first reading is going to be May 8th. That's a week later than we were originally planning. We decided to push back for some reasons. So May 8th, Friday night, will be our first Plays in the House reading. We're so excited. Got a lot of people signing up to participate and be involved. If you're a playwright out there watching and you have some work that maybe is fresh, a little new, or it's just been sitting in your desk for a couple of years and you never had anyone read it, this is the perfect time. Get somebody to read your work, hear actors put some intention and character behind things so you can change it, edit it, or keep it exactly the same and never change it, whatever you want to do. So it's going to be really exciting. Get those plays into us in the next 2 weeks and we're going to have a good time. So today, I'm really excited for our guest for episode 4. This is a very good friend of mine. We've known each other for several years now. We first met when he directed me in a show, actually, Kiss Me Kate. So as Michael Scott would say, the turntables, or the tables turn. He's a very dear friend of mine, coming to us live tonight from his bedroom, I think. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my friend, John Banes.
Oh, hello. It's you.
Nice. How's it going?
It's good. It's real good. I'm not in my bedroom. Actually, I'm in my stepsister's old room from high school. She got all the pink, so I'm surrounded by like pink, and it's kind of dark and vampire-y.
Oh, I just thought it was your bedroom because it's dark, pink, and vampire-y.
That's fair. That's totally...
One thing I forgot to mention before I introduce John, and I keep forgetting to mention this, and this is really the most important part. For our episodes of House Party, we are fundraising money to support our artists this summer for 574 Theater. If you don't know, one of the best things about 574 Theater, in my opinion, is all of our artists get compensated, whether that's actors, technicians, designers, front of house staff, whoever it may be, they're getting compensated. And so we would love your support to help just kind of give aid to our artists. That's a hard one. This summer as we go through this tough time of producing theater during COVID-19. So a couple ways you can do that. If you're watching on Facebook, there's a donate now button. You can click that. It's a really simple form to fill out, or you can go to 574theater.com/support, which you can see on the bottom of the screen to do that. So we'd appreciate it really a lot. In our first 3 episodes, we fundraised about $300 for our artists, which is really, really awesome. So thank you, everybody who has donated. I would love to get it up to $400 tonight. So if you think Johnny is somewhat above average in terms of talent, please consider giving back. Anyway.
Not about talent, viewers at home.
So, John, where are you in the world?
I'm back home in Mishawaka.
Living the dream, huh?
Mishawaka, Indiana.
Nice.
Yeah, back at my dad and stepmom's house.
Cool.
Yeah, I was supposed to be. Oh, fun fact! My whole entire dad's side, like grandma, and this never ever happens. We don't really do things together except for holidays. But our entire family was supposed to be on the cruise ship that I was working on vacation.
Oh. Right now,
this last week, they would have debarked on Saturday, and then they'd probably still be trying to get home today.
Man.
So, but yeah, I came home a little over a month early, and I'm back home in Indiana now.
So that's what you were doing. My next question was what got canceled for you for your cruise contract? What were you doing there?
Yeah, I was I was working for Carnival Cruise Lines on board the Panorama, which is their brand new ship that just began guest sailings in December. So it was really fun. It was kind of a big deal just because there were two brand new shows that they had never done before. So we were rehearsing for months trying to create those with their awesome people that they brought in, and then we were the very first ones that got to do them. So it was a really exciting job, and I loved it. And it's kind of a bummer. It's a bummer to suddenly say goodbye to everybody so soon.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
But it was so much fun.
Yeah, and then your family was supposed to go. That's a huge bummer.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
they made T-shirts, Alex. They made T-shirts. They were gonna say, "Oh, ship a Banes family trip," which you'd be surprised how many families use that one. But instead, they just said Banes family trip because my grandma didn't want to imply a swear word.
now that you're back in Mishawaka, you should like rent a pontoon boat and like go out on the river, and everybody can wear those shirts.
We'll have a pontoon boat. We'll wear the shirts, and we'll slap on some karaoke and have a time with it.
You could just belt your face off going down the river, and everybody who moves along will be calling the police. Yeah, I love it. That's a great plan. So, anyways, John, for those watching who don't know who you are, tell us about you. Who are you?
24601. I'm John. I grew up here in I grew up in South Bend, then in Mishawaka for high school, which is where I met you. And then I went to Ball State University for musical theater. And then I've worked on cruise ships and on theme parks and here at home and some concerts and stuff. I've worked all over the place ever since. I'm moving to New York as soon as it's safe. I've had my eyes set on New York City since I was 14, but I have a lot of student debt, so I was like, okay, I've got to work first. I've got to like pay it down, and like it seems like no matter how much I work, the number doesn't get any smaller. So I just said, forget it, I'm gonna go. I've been planning this for like months and months, so it's definitely on a big pause right now, and I'm thinking about everybody there and hoping this ends soon because it's shenanigans right now.
Do you have like a dream neighborhood you want to live in the city?
My stepsister lived in Brooklyn, so I've spent some time there. That was a lot of fun. It's kind of far from everything though. And then I stayed with my friend Kristen in Washington Heights for about a month.
Nice.
Last year. And that was a quick, I mean, if you catch the A, that's like 15 minutes to downtown, to Midtown, where all the auditions are and stuff. So I think I'm going to try Washington Heights first. And
maybe you can call up Lynn.
Like, maybe I can what?
Call up Lin-Manuel Miranda. Be like, hey, I'm coming to the city.
I doubt he still lives there. He does, really?
He lives in the Heights, yeah. You like, if you follow him on Twitter, like every morning or every evening, he puts a picture up of like the Washington Bridge. Of like, yeah, he lives there still.
I did not know that. I figured he'd be sullied away in a mansion somewhere.
I mean, it looks really nice. It's like a high-rise like condo building. He's like at the top. He has this gorgeous view of the Hudson and the Washington Bridge. Yeah, come on, get with it, man.
I don't know his life. I don't know what he's doing.
You know, he has 2 small children and a wife, and they're all stuck at home. So I'm sure they would take in just a random stranger to live with them.
Probably. I'm sure he's writing right now. Yeah. There's gonna be a Lynn.
Lynn, if you're out there, hey, take Johnny in to live with him. So, anyways, yeah, no, I think that's great. I think if I had to pick a place, it'd probably be Brooklyn. I like Brooklyn. It's probably one of my favorite neighborhoods. Or just in Times Square, just in the box.
Just right in the center.
I'll like chill out with like the ladies who have like the Minnie Mouse costumes, but you can still see their face and the head's like on top of their head.
Yeah,
you become one of those. That'll be my job.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Anyway, so this is how this episode's going to be, everybody. Johnny and I can't get through a conversation without just laughing and being really sarcastic. Anyways, tell me about your theater journey. Like, when did you start doing theater?
I started doing theater. I did my first show. It doesn't really count, but I did The Music Man Jr. in middle school, and it was just because this girl that I had a crush on convinced me to do it. I didn't know anything about theater. I didn't know what The Music Man was. I thought it was weird, but I had a lot of fun. And then I didn't do anything again until the summer before high school. when again another girl I had a crush on was like, I've heard you saying like you should audition for this thing, and I was like, okay, talk to me. But that summer I fell in love, and I haven't really wanted to do anything else ever since.
So what did you play in the Music Man?
In Music Man, I was the ensemble, and I played an invisible tuba. And then I got to do the cakewalk. You know, the cakewalk dance.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I also started doing musicals because of a girl in 8th grade, and I played Troy in High School Musical.
Yes, you did.
I started. Was that there was no like. I had the expectation set really high from the beginning.
Troy Bolton. Oh, no.
Okay, so you started doing theater in high school, and then was that the point when you were like, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life? Or was there like a certain point where like, this is it, this is what I want to go to college for, this is what I want to do?
It's a very specific point. That same girl, Taylor, we did end up dating for a long time, and we went together to see the touring cast of Wicked in Chicago, which was like probably 2008 maybe. And it was starring Dee Rossiali as Elphaba. And I had never seen a professional theater show. I had never seen I didn't know what Wicked was. I didn't know who Stephen Schwartz was. I literally knew nothing except for the Music Man Jr. And then so by the time Act 1 was half over, I was like, and then by the time Act 1 was over, I was in tears. And then by the end of the show, I was like, how did I not know this existed? I never want to do anything else. Like, I have to be there. I have to be up there.
That's awesome. So now you better go get in Wicked. Like when you move to New York.
I think I'm too tall. I can't be in the ensemble because I got to be a munchkin, and my ass is my butt is 6'2".
We had one rule.
I'm sorry. I told you I wouldn't swear. I'm sorry.
We talked about the pre-show, man. No cursing. No, we got to stop. I'm just gonna end. Wow, that's really cool. I'm trying to I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, what is the first professional theater production I saw? And I can't remember for the life of me.
No?
I think I was already doing theater before. So it wasn't like one of those moments of this exists, I had already become a theater nerd and watched a lot of bootlegs on YouTube and knew that level of theater existed. But I just can't remember what it was. It might have been Andrew Lloyd Webber's Wizard of Oz that was touring. Yeah.
And how old do you think you were? When did you begin?
I was in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're in the same age.
Yeah.
What did you do before?
Nick Rogers says hashtag.
Thanks, Nick. Those tights. Yeah.
Come on. Did you know Norbert Leo Butz played that originally? I never knew that until a year ago. And then did you know? I didn't know this either. Oh man. Now I'm blanking on his name.
What did he do?
Original MC. Oh no. It was his birthday yesterday. The original MC in Cabaret.
Joel
Gray.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was the original Oz. The wizard.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful. Yeah.
I didn't know that until one day I was listening to the Cast album and it said his name. I'm like, what? Anyway, all the Wicked things we could talk about. Okay, so you saw Wicked, you're like, I have to do this.
Yes.
And what was, so you decided to go to college for musical theater, right? So what was that search like? There's a lot of programs out there. Were you always set on Ball State or what?
Nah, if I didn't know anything about actual shows, I didn't know anything about college theater programs. I had no information. Well, there was Google, but I didn't really know even to search for Carnegie Mellon or CCM. I didn't know these places existed really. So my Ball State was actually my last choice.
What were your other choices?
My other choices were I auditioned for only 3. I auditioned for New York University, Tisch School of Musical Theater, Roosevelt in Chicago College of Performing Arts, and then Ball State. and I got into all of them, but they were so expensive.
Yeah.
So the day my dad and I sat down and I was like, we can't make these work. I was just like, ah! But Ball State ended up to be like, it changed everything, and
Right.
it was great education. It
Yeah.
was, yeah. I owe pretty much everything that has happened to me to Ball State and the people that I met there and the training I got there. It's wonderful.
And if you don't know out there, Ball State is hands down, in my opinion, one of the best musical theater collegiate programs in the Midwest. Their program is incredible, and the artists that are coming out of there are incredible, except for John. So what roles did you play when you were at Ball State? I know.
I was in the Music Man again. I was I was in the Barbershop Quartet this time, which I loved. We did this. Oh, what's his name? Charles Mee. We did the Charles. So Charles Mee is a playwright who writes shows that you don't have to pay rights for a lot of the time. You can just find them, and that's his thing. So we did the show called Iphigenia 2.0. That's a Charles Mee show, and it was sick. There was fake blood everywhere. I got to play Agamemnon, which is the father who kills Iphigenia. Ugh, so good. So much fun. We did an original adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which was like a movement theater piece. That's still one of my favorite things I've ever done. We did a show called Mad World, which was written by my friends Christian, Chandler, and Steven.
And it was so good.
You saw it, yeah, because we took it to the. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
It's about Lewis Carroll, but it's the man that wrote the Alice in Wonderland stories and his relationship to the Little family,
right? Who
the children are based off of.
Cool.
Yeah.
Didn't you do Baby?
Oh yeah!
I know the original better than you do.
I forgot about Baby. Fun fact: the girl who played Lizzie in Baby is now understudying Tina Turner on Broadway.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Was she the one in Waitress, or is that another Ball State person?
She was in Waitress too. Yeah, she understudied Dawn in Waitress and went on. She's the first Black Dawn on Broadway, which is amazing. And then she was also understudying the lead in King Kong.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so yeah, you did the college thing. You got the expensive piece of paper, and then what? What were you doing after that? What have you been doing after that?
Theme parks and cruise ships. I flew to Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, Virginia, the day after I graduated. Left that job early to get on ships, and then haven't really stopped since.
And Cedar Point, right? You did Cedar Point at one point. Cedar
Point was in between freshman and sophomore year of college. That summer.
Was it really?
Yeah. 2013.
Because remember, we had a big group that came out and saw you. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a good time. All right, so you've been doing the thing. Basically, to sum it all up, you've been constantly working since graduation, for the most part.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That's super exciting. So
I'm trying to be involved here at home as well, which is why I think it's so incredible that you've built this company up, from the ground up and are doing such incredible work.
He's just saying that because he likes to work with us. So when he is here, he likes to have a gig. So he's just sucking up.
No,
no, that's not what he's saying.
It's a treat and it's a gift to get to work with you guys and to have become good friends. But no, it's you're doing. We talk all the time. We don't have to talk about this right now. They're awesome. I don't know.
Have you ever seen that GIF where the guy's like, "Stop it," but he's like, "All right, so." We've gotten to the point where you're going to sing a song.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, and then we'll sing, and then we'll talk about your cruise life, because I want to hear more about that.
Okay.
Okay, so what are you going to sing for us?
This is, I'm going to...
He's drinking water.
This is With a Little Help from My Friends by the Beatles, but it was in one of the brand new shows on this ship that I just left. The show was called Rock Revolution. It was like a Woodstock era arena rock style psychedelic experience. They were flying drones and glow paint, and it was crazy. And this was one of my songs.
Cool. Okay.
So you have to imagine 11 other people thrashing and yelling.
Do you have drones when you're in the room to simulate that?
You know what? I don't. I do, but I haven't charged them, so we can't.
Okay. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Okay, so John's going to sing for us again. If you like what you hear, consider donating to 574. Click the donate button on Facebook or go to 574theater.com/support. All right, John, you ready?
Yeah.
Take it away.
Okay. All right, now imagine shit's happening, stuff's happening. Sorry. No swearing. What would you do if I sang out a tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ear and I'll sing you a song. And I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh baby, what I feel, yeah. Yes, I'm gonna try. I need somebody to love. Hey. All I need, I know I can. Count on my friends and my fans, and I get down on my knees and pray. And every time it works, I say every time it works, I get high. Oh, I'm gonna try. Whoa, yeah. My
Boo. That was so good. I just love when you just go off, like it just like I'm not even gonna do it because it'd be really embarrassing. But that was so good. I love that. That's a really cool arrangement. That's like perfect for you.
Thanks, man. It was a blast. It was my favorite. It was one of my favorite parts of every week.
So my question is, so if you're doing music like that, right? Like how many shows a week did you do?
We had 4 big production shows, right? That are like anywhere from 38 to 45 minutes long, but are completely different styles of music. So there's 4 big shows, and then we do 2 of each show, like 4 nights a week, and then like 2 smaller shows on different nights. So altogether, we're doing about 10 shows a week of different styles of music.
That's crazy. So how do you save your voice?
This one was hard. Carnival has 19 different production shows, and some of them are like fine. They're like a fun, like silly experience for the guests, but these were really demanding. So I almost never went out to the bar.
Oh man,
there was definitely I know. Well, I mean, we're stuck on a ship, and there's not a ton to. I'm not condoning like drinking the only fun thing that there is, but it's nice. So there wasn't a lot of like going to the bar to unwind after a show. There wasn't. Right. I had to like watch what I ate. I had to like watch how I was using my voice during the day. There's a lot of silence and a lot of water.
Silence. Just kidding. Yeah. In love. Okay, so that's, wow, 10 shows a week and trying to save your voice. How big was the cast in these shows?
Some ships have 8, and some have 12. We have 12.
Cool. So the other thing is, and I think a lot of people don't realize, like, what is it like just living on the ship? When you're not performing, there's like people having like time of their lives on this gorgeous vacation, but what are you doing? Like, how are you living?
Yeah. There's so many things I could say. So it depends on which. Oh God. I think the simplest answer is you become good at filling your time, because we do have side duties, and we do sometimes work very long days, but sometimes we won't have a lot to do during the day before a show. So you become good at figuring out how you want to shape your day. If you have the stamina to like go outside and have an adventure, or go outside and relax, or we nap. Pretty much everybody on a ship has a hard drive stacked with their favorite movies, their favorite TV shows that they can plug into their computer. Little side projects. I do a lot of projects. I did a lot of writing and reading on the ship. There's a lot you can do if you look for it, but if you don't look for it, it's like the walls are closing in.
That's, I think, would be the hardest part for me, of like just being in that confined space. I mean, it's pretty much like we're all now living the life of what it's like to be on a cruise ship, except not on one.
My dad, yeah, without sounding insensitive, when I did get home and I had to stay, in my room for 14 days to not put my family at risk, I was like, well, it's like being on ship, except I can eat when I want and go to sleep when I want.
And then when you do your performance in the room, your family, you're being too loud. They don't enjoy it. There was another question I was just thinking of. What was I going to ask? Oh, okay. So what were, I have two questions. One, what were the other shows you were doing, and like what were some of the songs you were singing in those shows?
Okay. My next favorite show is called Celestial Strings. It's conceived and choreographed by Paul Roberts, who I didn't get to work with, but I got to meet. He choreographs for the Spice Girls, and I was like, and it's like pop music. Think like 90s pop rock, but with a live string trio. So we did Evanescence. We did 3 songs from Moulin Rouge, which was really cool. Very theatrical. We're all in like this slashy white painted makeup, and in that one I sang like a really belty version of I can feel it coming in the air tonight, instead of yelling.
Did you do that?
The Show Must Go On was the opening number with my friend Drew, who's he's like a rock god. He was just wailing at the top of it. Oh my God, he's crazy. Another show was called Soulbound. It was all soul and Motown music, but it was in a spooky, some of the shows have storylines. So there was an actual, there was a witch queen and a soul collector who killed all of us. And then we came back to life and sang all these spooky songs. And that one I sang Midnight Hour and Superstition. And then the fourth big one was called, oh my Oh, Broadway Beats! Broadway Beats was the other brand new show to my ship, and I played this. I was in a sparkly blue police uniform, and I took this girl who was seeing the world the audience was seeing the world of the play through her, through different neighborhoods of New York City while singing show tunes that have an EDM mix over it. So there was a unskit version of Strongest Suit from Aida, and there was stuff like that. It was so much fun. It was a blast.
That's awesome. And where was your ship going? Was it in LA, right? Was it based in LA?
Mm-hmm. We were based out of Long Beach, and we went to Mexico. We did 3 ports in Mexico.
Nice. Awesome. Well, that's cool. That's all I have to say about that. That's cool. It's Sunday night and I'm tired. Okay. Are you ready for our first game?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't have enough energy to do proper segues. What?
I know you're going to make them hard. What were you going to say?
I was saying I don't have enough energy right now to do proper segues. So here we are.
Okay.
I'm just okay, we're done with that. We're going to this. Here we go. All right. Our first game is Finish That Lyric. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
I'm ready. Let's do this.
I was telling my guest the other day, I was telling Maggie, if you watch Seth Rudetsky and all of his shows, he plays piano. He introduced a guest and he has a theme song for him, plays piano. And I said, the best I can do is play Hot Cross Buns and Johnny Banes, Johnny. But nobody would be impressed. So there we are. Okay, are you ready? So the rules are you'll get a set of lyrics that'll have blanked out words, and you have to figure out what the words are. You have to fill in the blank, bonus points if you can guess the song in the show that it's
Okay.
from. Okay?
Okay.
All right, here's the first one.
I'll teach you the proper poise when you talk to boys, little ways to flirt and flounce.
You didn't do that. Woo!
Woo!
Yes, I'll teach you the proper poise when you talk to boys with a Z. Little ways to flirt. Popular from Wicked. There it is. Did someone? Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. You ready for the next one? They get harder.
I'm ready. Sometimes life just slips in through a back door and carves out a person and makes you believe it's all true. Waitress, Jenna.
And what's the song name?
She Used to Be Mine.
Boom, man, you're on it. It does get harder.
Wow.
Sometimes life slips in through a back door, carves out a person. Person. That's what we're looking for. All right. Somebody said that is their jam.
Brooke Marie, that's my stepsister! Hi, Brooke!
Hi, Brooke. All right, are you ready for the next one? You're just flying fingers. You're 2 for 2.
Woo.
I can trick you. Here we go. Next one. Keeps you going blank like a car with a full tank of blank.
I feel like the tank needs to be full of gas. Keeps you going fast? I don't know. Keep you going fast like a car with a full tank of gas.
That's your final answer.
Yeah.
Let's see if anyone in the audience knows it. Shoot a comment in real quick, and we'll see if you get it right. If anybody knows it or knows what show it's from, I bet some of you do. I do. You had a moment of realization, everybody. That's what we call a moment of realization in acting.
Alex. It's on the,
It keeps you going strong like a car with a full tank of gas. Purpose from Avenue Q.
What about Avenue Q in ages?
Well, that's your first mistake.
How dare you put Wicked and Avenue Q in the same trivia?
I saw it on Broadway in 2018, I think, right before it closed, and it was wonderful. It was hilarious. Anyway, all right, ready for the next one?
Yes.
Okay.
Full tank of gas.
Wait. Oh no, that's good.
I was half convinced I'd waken, satisfied enough to dream you, Sweeney Todd, Anthony.
It's Joanna, actually.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were
Come on.
you, Anthony.
All right. Oh, is that the last one?
Is that the last one?
I meant to do more, but that was the last one. I don't have my poop in a group today. I'm normally way more organized. Okay, well, you didn't do terrible. That's like a solid 75%. C's get
Sounds
degrees.
like most of my math grades.
Same, though. That actually would have been good for me if it was math. Okay, 3 out of 4. Not too bad. It'll pass. It'll do. All right.
It'll do.
Cool. It'll do. Your time with 574. You've been with us since pretty much the beginning, right?
Very beginning. Yeah, spelling bee.
So, and what on 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, what was your role? What did you do?
I music directed. That was my first time with a live pit band.
Yeah, and we had what? That was what, 4 pieces?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we ended up doing? And then, so if you didn't see Putnam County, it was our very first show. We did it in the Battelle Center gym, not in a theater, in an actual gymnasium. The acoustics were crazy. We had to dampen things down so much. And then there were 2 balconies on either side of like the gym floor, and Johnny, the band, was up on one of them. And the way he would conduct, so everybody can see, is he had the Mickey Mouse head on top of his pen. I'll never forget that.
Me this like Mickey Mouse pencil topper, and it was rainbow, and she got it for me because it was rainbow, and she was like, ah! She brought it back from Disney, and I was like,
but it worked really well because it was such like a good like visual catch for the actors when they needed it. Right? That was such a fun show. I think Michelle and I were talking about it the other day. It was our very first show, and it was just a lot of crazy because it was the first. You know, we were kind of playing by the seats of our pants. Is that the right?
It was a great too. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah, it was a good cast. Everyone was super talented. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then, okay, what was next after that then?
Was Little Women that season, or was it the next year?
Little Women was that season.
Next, I directed and adapted Little Women, but not the musical with the astonishing the 1912 Broadway script.
Yeah, and that was a ton of fun. Very interesting experience. You know, we modernized. Well, you modernized it. So it was like Shameless meets Little Women.
I just thought about that today because somebody was talking about somebody walking out of the theater. Well, for if you probably didn't see it, but if you did see it, we made Joe. We heavily implied, we couldn't add words, but we heavily implied that Joe was a trans man, a young trans man, and somebody walked out, and we were like, "We're mad, but we're not mad. That's exciting, but we wish they would have stayed." But like, I think it's exciting when you I don't think the goal was ever to make anyone uncomfortable, but I think that you and I talked about this a lot before we even went into rehearsals, and it was something that I thought was a good button to push in our community.
Yeah, and I think, theater is supposed to push boundaries. Not everything is light and fluffy Disney musicals. There's things that are meant to make you think, and sometimes people just get very passionate about things for whatever reason. They're entitled to that. Yeah, so that's season 2. You came back for only one show. Well, you did a couple of things for us in season 2, right? Into the Woods, and then we did a couple cabarets. Let's talk about the cabarets.
Okay.
Because I think that was a really cool experience, and what you did was awesome. So last summer we did our Broadway Backwards Cabaret, and Johnny kind of directed it, put it all together because I had no time to do it. So what's your favorite part about that experience of like working on the cabaret and be able to like arrange some new songs and like mash up some things? What was that like for you?
It's cool. It was cool because I put so 574 hired a company for the summer, the six actors for the summer that were in all the productions, and they were the only ones that did the cabaret, except for Zach came in, and so I really put them in the driver's seat. I said, pick a song sung by the opposite of the gender that you identify with when you typically do theater. And go for it. And then we're going to build little stories of your life around these songs. And I think that was the most exciting, watching the company like take it and run with it. And then like the hours and hours of transposing sheet music, that was the less fun part. But I learned a lot about transposing that summer.
Yeah. So and like my favorite part of it all was the opening. You arranged a mashup of Jersey Boys and Mamma Mia.
I forgot.
And where the ladies sang the Jersey Boys numbers and the men sang the Mamma Mia numbers, and it was so much fun. That was probably one of my favorite things that 574 has ever done, to be honest.
Good. Yay. Yeah, that was a blast.
And at the same time, when we were doing all that, like we didn't have enough on our plate, we were doing Into the Woods. So tell me about your roles, because you had multiple on Into the Woods. What were you doing? What was that process like for you? And inform everybody who's watching, who may not have seen it, what we did with that.
Sure. So we did a deaf theater project of Into the Woods, which means that our main characters. So I think all of our main characters were either actors who don't hear, or hearing actors who were certified sign language interpreters, right? And then so they were at the forefront of the show. This is all Alex's idea, by the way. It was amazing. And then there was a shadow cast that followed them around and spoke and sang as they were signing. So it was this crazy effort of trying to get everyone synced up, because there's very little time without music in Into the Woods. You chose like the literal hardest show and one of the most wordy shows to do something like that with. So my job was to I was the movement director for that show. So my job was to make the shadow cast have a reason to be in the world, and we landed on spirits of the woods, trees, and then figuring out helping the shadow cast figure out how a tree spirit moves, how a tree spirit is a body, is a person. And when we say it out loud, it sounds like, you know, the joke that everybody makes, like, in second grade, I was a tree.
I was tree number 6. Yeah.
Exactly. But these trees had to, like, that we used physical cues, we used visual cues to have everybody on the same page signing and speaking cast. It was awesome. It was a blast.
When you talk about collaboration, right? Like me as director, so much on my plate for that show, right? Because we're working with 2 different casts in 2 different languages. And our deaf cast, we had 6 deaf actors, 4 interpreters. Majority of our deaf actors had never been on stage before, right? So it was doing Into the Woods to start, and then doing it in 2 languages, and then working with actors who it's their first time on the stage. So a lot of my time was spent with our deaf actors and those in the focus, and so I was able to put all of that other stuff, which turned out to be so important on you, which was amazing. It was such an awesome process. It was incredible. You make a good team on that front. We should do that again sometime.
I'm down. I'm ready.
I've been trying to think of what the next deaf theater project is that I don't know yet. So, it's been brainstorming in my head. I'm waiting to have another drink. Now, something else I was going to say about Into the Woods that I don't remember. You also played a prince.
Yeah.
You forget that.
I forgot. Yes, I did. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a blast. With
Wesley.
I almost called him Hayden. I'm so sorry, Wesley. I love you.
Probably not. So
yeah, with Wesley.
A really nice comment I want to show. Christian says, thank you for your creativity, forward momentum, and commitment to showcasing and featuring communities not always highlighted in our business.
Yes, Alex. Yes, Kristen. Hi, babe. I love Kristen. That's one of my best friends. That's the person I stayed with in New York that I told you about last.
Hi, Kristen. I felt like really there showing that. Are you okay?
Oh my gosh. I'm freaking out. What's that?
Uh-oh. Johnny's gone. I'm alone in the universe.
What's happening?
I can hear him, but I can't see him. This is awful. I've talked about this with. Oh, there he is.
Hi. Sorry.
You good?
Technology.
I've talked about that with all of my guests. If something happens with the connection, we'll just make our way through. And that was a terrible feeling. It hadn't happened yet, and I have butterflies in my stomach. Moving forward.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So yeah, Into the Woods was really great. It was the movement work you did was incredible, and it was so nuanced, right? You see like a Broadway show, or you see like a really well done show, and what makes it so good is the nuance, the little details. I remember I saw My Fair Lady, the last revival of it on Broadway in Lincoln Center. Bartlett Sher directed. He's one of my favorite directors. And I remember in like the street scenes in London, the focus is all the way down on the thrust with like Eliza and whoever. But then upstage walking are just all these like townspeople, and you can see they're having like really thoughtful conversations, and their mannerisms are so realistic. And I'm like, that's what makes it perfect. But then I miss part of the show because I'm focused on the background and not like the actual story. But I'm like, it's My Fair Lady. It's fun. So just kidding. I love My Fair Lady. Anyway, is there anything else you wanted to add about your time with 574? Other than
I just love you guys. Yeah, no, just love. Just lots and lots and lots of love. And many more years, I'm hoping.
Woo! Yeah, let's hope. Okay, my next question for you, which is going to be a surprise to me because you couldn't give me an answer pre-show. What is your favorite musical? I love asking people this question.
It changes all the time. I think I'm right now. I've been stuck on. I saw Hadestown with Kristen last year, and I've been stuck on that ever since. Because I don't get to see many Broadway shows, so when I see one, it's like I like to go back and listen to the album over and over again, and then try to replay it in my head. And I think the music's beautiful, and I think the design and the direction was incredible, and I love the cast. And it's been a while since a show has made me feel like fluttery like that.
Yeah.
So I'm right now it's Hadestown for sure.
I'm hoping to see it this fall. I have a trip booked for Thanksgiving weekend. The first thing I bought was my ticket to see Music Man with Sutton Foster and Hugh Jackman. So I had nothing else planned, but I had my ticket, and I bought it before they even announced the theater, like that it was in. And so I just picked a random ticket, not knowing which theater it was in, but I was like, I am buying this because I have to see the show. But I'll be there for like 4 or 5 days. Going to see some stuff. I'm going to sleep on your couch. You don't know that yet, but I will.
If I own a couch, I may not have a couch.
I'll
You can sleep
couch. That'll be my payment. Instead of paying for a hotel, I'll pay for a couch for your.
Yay! I'll take it.
Yeah. Except it might take up your whole apartment. I don't know.
That's fine.
All right. So you're going to sing another song for us.
Yes.
What are you going to sing?
I'm going to sing a song that I'm currently writing a musical, and I'm going to sing a song from that. It's called Debt Song. It's where I come out as Debt or whoever. I'm writing it for me and Michelle, our friend Michelle. So it's me, but it could be anybody. But I come out as Debt personified, and then I taunt Michelle because she sees this really pretty jacket that she wants to buy, but she can't be making these kinds of frivolous purchases while she's in so much debt. So I come out and taunt her.
Have you seen How I Met Your Mother?
No, everybody keeps telling me to watch it. I haven't seen it.
Okay, there's an episode on there where Lily is in a play, and it's like off Broadway play in New York, right? And it's a pair of 4 actors, and they're all playing like greed and envy. So when you said that, it made me think of it. I'll have to send you a YouTube clip of it because it's hilarious. Anyways, enough about me. It's just like its premiere, like its world premiere.
I suppose, yeah. No, nobody's heard the song.
I love that. Thanks for doing it on House Party.
Yeah,
okay, world premiere, ladies and gentlemen, of Debt by John Arlan Banes. Here we go.
Okay, so she's what? Hi, Chris. Okay, so she's walking along. She sees the jacket on a mannequin in the window. I'm the mannequin, and then I come to life and I tease her. Who are you? She asks. I'm the one in the back of your mind, knocking at you all of the time. When you see a brand new jacket that you really want to get. Hello, it's me. Let me in. I'm your debt. But you can't mean my student debt. Jackpot. Gone are the days when you'd stroll across the quad, ice coffee in your hand, chewing the fat with the squad. Oh baby, gone, long gone, all the papers and the tests. Just me and your degree remains, scrapping over your remains, and I'll win. On that you can bet. I'm your debt. It's just a little jacket, it's just a huge deposit on your shabby new apartment in the city. And it's just another coffee, and it's just another Uber, and it's tap class for beginners and delivery for dinner. Ceaseless nothings you can spend, but at each month's end for the next 35 years, you'll be my best friend. So go ahead, baby, try it on. Doesn't it make you feel like all your fears have up and gone? But don't be surprised when I knock again. Your neck deep in my net. I'm your debt. Game matching set, baby, I'm your debt. No regrets, baby, I'm your debt. Don't forget. And she sings. Got a jet.
Literally LOLing the whole time. So you wrote the music and the lyrics to that, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
It had like a real like City of Angels vibe. I don't know if you've listened to that album.
Yeah,
it's like really like bass-liney jazz, but then like meets like Avenue Q a little bit. You know, I love it. That's so good.
Thank you.
Very.
Can you tell that's been on my mind?
Now you need to do like a parody of like, instead of like Georgia on My Mind, you could do like Dead on My Mind.
I'm done writing about debt for a while. Sugar daddies, if you're out there, hit me up.
That's hilarious. Okay, so let's talk about writing, right? That's a good segue. So you write things.
I do write things. Yeah.
Tell me about it. What's your process? You know, how do you go about it? Are you a lyrics or a music guy first? Whatever. Talk me through it.
I feel so many. So I haven't. There's no like. If you think about, remember when I said I didn't know anything about theater before, like age 14?
Right.
I still don't really know anything about writing, so a lot of it is feeling my way through the dark. Right. I've never like. There are composition courses, there are composition degrees. There's so much about music theory and chord structure and chord progressions that I don't. But it's true. Thank you. But like, it's true. It's true. There's so much that I still want to learn. So a lot of it is me stabbing in the dark and seeing like, could this work? Could this happen? I had two really good pianists friends on the ship this last time while I was writing the show that Debt Song is from. I was like, hey, if you have some time, can you come and like help me put chord symbols above stuff? And you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of me feeling in the dark, seeing what I like, and then asking help from more knowledgeable music theory folks to help me put it onto paper in a way that a pianist can like pick up and understand. And oh my gosh, I've sat music in front of pianists before and they were like, this isn't, I can't. You know what I mean? Like there's stuff like that you just got to know. So it's a lot of like me going for as much as I can, what I think that I want, and then like rearranging to actually like write like a writer. Does that make sense? Is that?
It reminds me of a story. I heard Jason Robert Brown speak once, and it was right around the same time Bridges of Madison County was opening, which is like really guitar heavy, right? And you would expect that because it's set in Iowa, very Midwesterny. And he didn't know guitar before he wrote that show. So he taught himself guitar, and he taught himself guitar so well that the music he wrote it was the same thing. It was so complicated and like not normal that he like gave it to the guitarists of the show, and they're like, WTF, man. Like, what is this? Like, you gotta change it. And so then he ended up getting some help. But like, yeah, I think that's how I would be too. You know, like you know what it is in your head just because you've heard the things before. Yeah. But then like, what does it actually look like on paper? And you're like, I don't know, and just put a bunch of crap, you know? Like, yeah. So like, what is some other stuff you've written? Like, I know like you've written a couple shows, right?
I've only written one show, like a complete draft of one show. I wrote a musical called Master of Time. That's very dear to my heart, but I haven't touched. I did a stage reading of it my junior year of college with some of my best friends and some of my professors. And you saw it, and it was something I'll never forget. But that's the only show that I've actually completed. This one's almost done, but I haven't ever said that took 4 years, and it was so like, I don't know, you remember the show, the material was kind of heavy, and I had no idea what I was doing, so I needed some time away from writing after that. Yeah. And then now I've like simplified and like kept the content fun and light, and like I'm having a really good time now. But Master of Time is the only one that I've ever like finished, you know what I mean? Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you ready for your next game?
Yes. All right.
My segues tonight are really bad.
That's okay.
I'm like, okay, I've heard enough. Let's go to the next thing. Let's go.
I'm ready too. Let's do it.
All right, our next game, which I have more questions than like two. Here we go. Broadway trivia.
Oh my gosh.
Give me like a little like jingle on your piano. That's what I need. I could do that. That was pretty simple. All right. So you're like, yeah, it is. All right. So rules of the game. I'm going to ask you a question, And don't answer it right away because we'll let our viewers play along also. So if you know the answer to the question, put it in the comments as quick as possible, and we'll hope that Johnny gets it wrong and you get it right so we can set up for you and not Johnny. Okay? All right, here we go. First question is, which musical is considered the prototype for American musical theater? You know the answer. What?
Is this a trick question?
No. It's just a question. Why would I trick you? If you know,
well, because it changed a lot early on. So all right. Well, yeah, I think I have my answer.
Johnny will not get it wrong.
Ah!
Somebody has faith in you. Danielle has faith in you.
Maybe a little too much.
Music Man. It's not Music Man. Sorry.
My dad.
All right, John, do you have your guess?
I do.
Go for it.
Because it was the first time that dance was used to further the story along, I'm going to say Oklahoma. Yay!
It is Oklahoma.
Yay! Oh,
yeah.
God, I thought I would be wrong. Okay, cool.
No, it's like, so there's like two musicals, right? Showboat was right before it, which like kind of had some story to go along with the singing and dancing and stuff. But Oklahoma was the real one where like the main vehicle was the story. Not a very good story, but it was a story.
You saw the revival, you lucky duck.
That was really good. Now, the revival was very good. I think that's what Broadway needs to start doing more of, is reinventing some of these musicals that have some issues in 2020, right? Some race issues and some sexism issues, things like that. Like, let's take a new look at these, people. That's my soapbox. All right, next one. Are you ready?
Yes.
Now, again, you should know this one. If you don't, you're fired.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, gosh.
What show did Sutton Foster win her first Tony Award for?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, let's give it a couple minutes. Let's see if anybody else can it. Do you want to talk about your time with Sutton Foster while we're waiting for some answers?
Okay. Sutton is an adjunct she is an adjunct professor at Ball State. So she came every year and did master classes, and she taught cabaret class that the senior musical theater majors take. She's the most down-to-earth, warm, all about like the work. If I was obsessed with her before, I was more obsessed with her after I met her. Fun fact, I saw her in Shrek on Broadway years and years. That was the first show I ever saw in New York, and I waited 3 hours before the show at the stage door for her, just in case she got there super early. And I think I scared her. Either she was resting her voice or she was scared of me, but I literally, when I saw her, I was like, I know you. And then I hope she forgot it when we ended up meeting at Ball State.
She's like the Broadway person who made me fall in love with theater. I love Sutton Foster. All right, first guess, Drowsy Chaperone. It is not Drowsy Chaperone. That's a great guess. She should have won for Drowsy Chaperone, but she didn't, unfortunately. Thoroughly Modern Millie. Johnny, is that your answer?
Yes, it is.
Thoroughly Modern Millie. It's the best story, and I tell it to everybody, so I have to tell it really quick. Okay. So when she was like up and coming, like in the theater world, I think she was on the tour for Les Mis at the time. And she was either play Eponine in the tour of Les Mis or go do this new show on Broadway and be the understudy to Millie. She chose that route. In rehearsals, whoever they originally had cast as Millie got really sick and was out of rehearsals for like a week. So Sutton was in the rehearsal process. Well, everybody liked Sutton way more. The producers, the creative team, they just liked Sutton way more. So other chick got fired and Sutton got the role, and that's how it goes. She won the Tony and the show won the Tony. So yeah. Moral of the story, don't be sick and miss rehearsal, friends.
She couldn't help it. Maybe. I don't know her.
Broadway's a tough biz. All right, here we go. Next question. Who was the original Sweeney Todd?
I know this one.
You don't know it, or you do?
I don't. Yeah, no.
Let's see if anybody can help you out in the comments here. I know Nick Rogers is watching, and if he doesn't know it, he's fired. He's our
It was Elaine Stretch. It was Elaine Stretch playing opposite Angela Lansbury.
I wish. Can you imagine how good that would be? Oh my gosh. All right, if you know who the original Sweeney Todd is, drop it in the comment section. He's one of my favorites. He was just in a play on Broadway, and he left it in the middle of the run. And it closed. It was a 2-person show. I bet Nick Googled this, but he got it right. It is Len Peru.
Dang. Gotcha.
Len Peru is the answer. He's brilliant, a brilliant actor, and he was kind of like really up and coming in the 70s there. He was getting a lot of gigs and stuff, and then they offered him. I was listening to an interview with him the other day, and I think him and Hal Prince met up, and he was like, "Hey, I want you to play Sweeney Todd." And he was like, "All right," and and that's how it goes.
That's cool.
All right, next question. Here we go. Let me make sure I hit the right one. In the song "Take a Break" from Hamilton, which playwright and play is referenced? Told you I was making this hard.
I don't know.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Any Hamilton fans, Hamill fans out there?
Sorry, Hamill fans.
It's a really good. There's a lot of references throughout all of Hamilton. It's just like everything's said so fast, you can't.
And the Heights too. He loves that. He's like my man. Where's it? 299.
Anybody? We're gonna give it a couple more seconds before we move on. I think we're kind of on a delay, or people just don't know, or they're googling it. Anyway, the answer is Shakespeare and Macbeth, and the lyrics are, "I trust you'll understand the reference to another Scottish tragedy without my having to name the play."
He's so dang clever.
I know.
That's awesome.
And it's like he was saying in an interview, like he's referencing a very specific line in Mackers, and I don't remember what it is, but he was talking to like some like Shakespeare historian, like expert dude, and he's like, "Lynn, I didn't even make that connection. Like, how do you know?" It's just like, I don't know. I do. All right.
I feel less bad for getting it wrong now.
What?
I feel less bad for getting it wrong now.
Oh yeah, especially because he's watching, and now he's definitely not going to let you stay at his house.
Dang it!
I know. All right. Which Broadway theater is owned by Disney?
The Mickey Mouse. I don't know.
It's not the Mickey Mouse. Aladdin is currently there. Mary Poppins was there beforehand. It's on 42nd Street.
What else is played there?
I don't know, before Mary Poppins. I mean, Lion King was there for a time, and then it moved to the other one that it's at.
I don't know. Alas.
The New Amsterdam.
Ah!
It's really big. It used to be a really old theater. Disney bought it and then renovated it, and now it's this gorgeous Broadway house owned by Disney, and all Disney shows are there. So Aladdin is there currently, and like I said, Mary Poppins was there previously.
Wow.
All right, last one. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What is Alex's favorite musical?
Oh, am I allowed to answer, or do I have to wait for people to come?
No, go ahead and answer.
I feel like it's Man of La Mancha. Am I wrong?
You are. I mean, that is one of my favorites, but not like my favorite. Like I love me some Man of La Mancha, but my favorite is Pippin.
Really? Nope, I didn't know that.
You need to play Pippin before you get too old.
Oh, I would love that.
Okay, well, we'll work on that. All right. So, yeah, I love Pippin. I got to see it on its last tour in Chicago. And I met the whole cast afterwards because, again, my favorite show. So I staged door in Chicago, which who does that? But I did. And the King Charlemagne was played by John Rubinstein, who's the original Pippin, like back in the 70s. So that was really cool. Like that was a real like full circle for him.
Yeah, I love when they do that.
Yeah. All right. Gone wrong stories. I love to ask about this. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. What are some stories in your performing life where things just went horribly wrong, or mistakes were made, or whatever it was? Give us one or two of your favorites.
Okay. The one that she's gonna hate me for this. The one that immediately comes to mind is my last, not this last ship, but the one before that. One of my best friends, Day, was in a show. We were doing a show called Amor Cubano, and it's like Gloria Estefan, Celia Cruz, and it's all this like so crazy difficult dancing. And she was running off for one of the numbers, and I think one of the screens was moving or something, and she broke her toe. But she finished the show
Wow.
She was in so much pain, and then her and my friend Cameron had this love duet, like almost at the end of the show, and she was like sobbing, and we were like glancing at her, like, oh, she must be really into it today, like, like she's really feeling it. But no, she had broken her toe, and then when we did finish the show, I had to like carry her on my back back to the dressing room, and then she ended up having to go home for 7 weeks to heal her toe. But she was just running off stage, and she like clipped it on something, and
Oh, ouch.
yeah.
I feel like if I would have been an audience member, you know, like me, like who has good theater knowledge, like I'm like, wow, she's really committing for like a cruise ship show. Like, bravo, like that's some dedication. Any other exciting ones that maybe happened to you? Not, I know now you don't want to embarrass yourself.
Oh no, okay.
Ratting out your friends.
One time I was doing a production of Miracle on 34th Street when I was still really, really young, really, really new to theater, and I had a really fast costume change. It was with Main Stage. It was with John West, and it was so much fun. And me and Taylor we sang "Baby It's Cold Outside." That wasn't in the show. We weren't allowed to do that, but we did it anyway. And it was a blast. So I didn't make my change, and I did that whole scene and the song with no shoes on. But not only no shoes on, with bright red Christmas socks on. So there was like zero way to conceal anything. I was just like sweating and trying to stand behind things and like stand behind Taylor and hide my feet.
That's hilarious. Seems like Christmas shows are always like where things just, you know, go crazy. I was in a Christmas show once and I'm standing off stage. I'm like, man, where is everybody? And I'm like, oh crap, I'm supposed to be on this. I just like totally missed that. I just left. And so it was like I was in an office or something, and I like came like hunting on. I'm like, all right, character is I'm late to work. Don't be seen by the boss. And so
at least you had some motivation behind it. I was just like trying to find my way behind furniture.
Keeps moving. That's hilarious. Oh man, so you know you've had a big career so far in theater, and you have so much more to go, which is really exciting. In all of this time, you know, especially now, we're pausing, we're reflecting. I saw somebody call this today the Great Pause, which I really love, because especially for us artists who are constantly on the go from contract to contract to contract, we only have a second to stop, breathe, listen, and meditate. And so what I've been thinking about a lot is, what does theater mean to me? So I'll ask you the same question. What does theater mean to you?
I've been watching House Party, so I've been ready for this question, and I've thought about it, and I am so glad that you asked it, because I like you said, I never stopped to think about it. So I've decided that to me, at this point in my life, because I think it changes with time. I think at the beginning, it was something very different. It was something than it is now. To me, it was something to it did something else for me that it does now, but now I think theater is the science of human connection. I think that I see shows as like thousands and thousands of experiments, right? Whose only constant is the text that the playwright gives you, and then the variables are everything else: the design, the performance, execution. And the goal is always to connect. It's always to connect with, or share, or explore, or better understand like what it is to be human, and share that with each other at the same time, in the same room with each other, where there's nowhere to hide from what you are experiencing, from what you're feeling. So ideally, a show is always the same, but it's like each audience member brings in their entire life, their entire day's worth of baggage with them, and it's this explosive thing that we can all have together, and I'm really looking forward to getting back to it.
Same here. I've been missing that, and I think it's like you said. You know, you aren't able to fully process these things until you're not in it, and you don't appreciate what you truly have until it's not there. Very good. That was a good answer. I could tell you've been prepping it for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
you did your homework. Except on your favorite show. You didn't do that, but it's fine. We'll forgive you. All right. So you're going to sing one last song for us. And
yes.
What are you going to sing?
I'm going to sing an Irving Berlin song called What'll I Do? You told me to keep it uplifting to end with, but
You told me.
I know, but Passover was this week and Easter's today, and everybody had to celebrate without me. It's been a while since we, as a globe, have been asked to be separated from people we love, and so this song has been on my heart, and I just want to sing it.
Awesome. Okay. He's also going to play he's going to play piano on this one. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Johnny's going to sing his last song again. If you like what you hear, if you want to give back to 574 Theater and the mission of telling great stories for human connection, hit that donate now button on Facebook or go to 574theater.com/support. Johnny, you ready?
I'm ready.
Take it away.
What'll I do when you are far away from me? Oh, what'll I do? What'll I do when I am wondering who is kissing you? What'll I do? What'll I do with just a photograph to tell my troubles to? When I'm alone with only dreams of you that can't come true, what'll I do? What'll I do with just a photograph to tell my troubles to? When I'm alone with only dreams of you that can't come true, what'll I do? What'll I do? What'll I do?
Yay! That was beautiful, friend. Very nice work.
Thanks.
Are you learning to
Love
play?
you guys. Huh?
I said you're learning to play piano right now, right? I saw your book, or like you knew, but now you're like refining.
Yes, I knew, but I've never sat down and like. I'm trying. I'm trying. It's really hard. I'm doing it every day, and it's fun, and I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah, cool. Well, John, thank you for being on today. It's always a good time to chat theater and hear you sing. Everybody look out for John Banes because he's going to be on Broadway. And we're all going to say, hey, I knew that guy. Like, you're on the Tony Awards when he wins something. We'll be like, hey, I knew him. Okay. Thank you very much. We're going to say goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, John. Thank you.
Bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was so much fun to chat with John. And seriously, y'all, he's going places. Keep your eye on him. It's so great to have amazing artists like John working with 574 Theater and putting their blood, sweat, and tears into our mission. So happy tonight that I pull up my donation list. We raised $70 tonight, which is so awesome. Thank you, Danielle, Kristen, and Brody, who donated. We really appreciate it. We're a nonprofit theater company, and times are tough right now. So every little bit that we can fundraise for our artists is so huge. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to be back Tuesday night at 8 p.m. with Nick Rogers, who is an actor that's been with us a lot at 574 Theater. Super talented, big theater nerd like I am, and I'm so excited to have him on the show. So join us again Tuesday night at 8 p.m. I hope you all stay safe, be well, get some rest, and have a great rest of your Sunday evening. Take care, everybody.